Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of What's Happening. I'm George Binns, and I'm here with my co-host, Gail Burke. And we have as our guest tonight, Chris Lovasco, the Chief Executive Officer of the North Shore YMCA,
Thank you.
and Scott Hitchcock, the Chief Operating Officer of the North Shore. So before we start, we're talking about the North Shore. I looked it up today, and you got 9 different facilities going.
We do.
Cape Ann, Greater Beverly, Haverhill, Ipswich, Rowley, Lynn, Van Otterloo, that's Marblehead, Plastow. I didn't know Plastow was on the North Shore, but and Salem.
That's really north.
So that's the whole operation that you're responsible for, right?
In total, there are 25 communities that the YMCA of the North Shore is chartered to serve.
Okay. Is there another organization at a higher level than you that ties together operations, or are you totally autonomous?
So there's actually, the way it's set up is almost like a federated model. So there's a YMCA of the USA, of which there's about 841 independent YMCAs of various sizes. So we're one of those 841. And actually, we're actually about the 31st largest sized Y in the country.
The Y of the North
The
Shore?
YMCA of the North Shore.
Okay. Now, the other thing that gets to me, I guess, I grew up with the Y in Providence, big city. And the Y there was you're swimming, you're in the gym, or you're living in one of the boarding house rooms. And that's the characteristics of the Y. And now we're getting into many more things. We had Judith on, we talked about the expansion and the school, the after-hours school, and now the program we're going to talk about tonight mainly is this Cornerstone. The Y seems to be changing its character quite a bit. Where's it going?
I guess I would slightly disagree with you on
Okay.
that, George, because you said you like controversy on your show.
Okay.
No, I would tell you
Back
that
up.
I think the Y historically, I think its inherent genius is that it has always evolved to meet the times and meet the needs of today. So when people needed to learn how to swim to be safe, the Y was there. When families began to need additional childcare and after-school programming, the Y went to meet that need. And when people started to need a place, regardless of their ability to pay, to stay and maintain their health, the Y stretched its capacity to do that. And so today there are needs like summer learning loss prevention, and there are needs like kids who have autism that are having trouble learning to swim, and things like people dealing with cancer.
Yeah.
And so I think the Y is always trying to be there for the community where they have need.
So when is this Cornerstone going to start, Scott?
So our plan is to launch it in early fall. We just did an announcement a few weeks ago, and right now we have a group of staff who are working almost full-time on just making sure that we have the right program to launch and that we do it really well. We knew when we were taking on supporting a program for individuals with cancer and their families that we owed it to make sure that on day one we had an amazing experience for everyone who walked through the door. So to do that and to make sure we really do it well up to the standards we want to have, we're putting a lot of staff time and effort to make sure that happens.
How does this work as far as families are concerned? Like the Ronald McDonald House has programs for families to come and stay there while their children are in the hospital receiving treatment. This isn't like that at all, is it?
No, this is very different. So this is like my favorite topic right now to talk about. I love this program. Mm-hmm. So what we are trying to do is to focus on what a Y is really good at. And our Y is really good at helping people meet their fitness goals, helping people build a sense of community and connect to a broader community, and to help people kind of feel safe and try new things. And that's what this program is designed to be. It's a program to provide daily living support for individuals with cancer and their families. So we're not providing treatment. That's what hospitals do. And in fact, we're hoping to be working with many of our local hospital health systems from Leahy and around regionally to help us on the parts of stuff that we don't do with education and support from a different perspective. But we're good at the health stuff and we're good at the community stuff. So what we're going to do is make sure that people have activities at no charge, have a membership and a community by being part of the Y, and have some support pieces that we already do, but we can provide to them at no charge to help make their dealing with cancer and their families dealing with that disease and supporting the person who is ill to make that a little bit easier.
Okay. Does that mean that anybody who lives in this community or any of the communities served by the Y can avail themselves of this program?
Yep. When we launch it, we are looking to make sure that everybody who has been diagnosed with cancer over the past 5 years in their immediate family are welcome to come join our Y and be part of the Cornerstone program. And in that means they get a membership to the Y for a year. And our team is building a number of programs and services underneath that. We don't just want to be a place where people just have a membership. We think membership is just the entree into all the rest that the Y does, and that is the community pieces. We are going to have staff who are particularly hired to be in each one of those facilities you listed that will be there to help onboard and support somebody when they walk in, connect them to things to do, and then participate and lead a bunch of activities that we're going to build just for these folks so they get to meet and engage with people in the same boat they are, get support and share, and hopefully kind of build some networks that currently don't exist in our community.
So how did you start to get into this kind of a
Well, again, I think
program?
that's a great question. I think to what we said before, the Y is constantly looking for ways to meet more community needs. And I think what Scott described really is a pattern of YMCA experiences where we are going to set this program up so that people that are feeling maybe at a time in their life most vulnerable, they have no barriers and they have a welcomed access into a place where they can find different levels of support. And that's as simple as somebody that maybe just wants to come in under this Cornerstone program, be completely anonymous, but just work on their own health and well-being in our fitness centers, in our group exercise programs. It may be somebody who just simply needs a place for their child to be watched while they go for treatment. It may be a place where they just want their child to go and spend a couple of weeks at camp and just be a kid during a tough time. So for us, it's the gambit, and it's in everything we do. Our financial aid program, you won't know who in that facility is availing themselves to it and who isn't. And so when you come in, we want you to be as connected to people in the Cornerstone program, but also it's your time to use it the way you need and your family needs. So it really came from an idea that we said is, we've been saying yes to anyone who comes to us in need for financial assistance for a good long couple of decades plus. And so we had made a promise to ourselves in the last year or so to say, how do we reach out into our communities and find people who may not even know enough to ask for the Y's help? And so we've done many smaller programs to do that. This is really, and Scott really masterminded the operation of this. This is our first large-scale initiative to really make a mark for this generation's way of thinking about the Y.
Now, Cornerstone is not just here in Massachusetts. There are nationwide programs, Cornerstone, at different Ys. I know there's out in California, and it encompasses a lot, particularly education. Is the educational part that the Y here provides, is that part of Cornerstone?
So
I think you just threw both of us for a loop.
No, we don't. We definitely don't claim trademark on the name. So the different Ys around the country have every Y, because of the federated model Chris was talking about. Y can start their own programs. So I am not surprised to find out that there's another Y that has a program with a similar name around the country, but it's a very different program. So this is unique to us, and as far as we know, and that is the only. There are other organizations that have done similar types of things. As we've talked to folks about what's available for individuals with cancer in the area, this is a little bit unique because of the scope of it. So this is different than what otherwise around the country have run with a similar name. We actually, as the Y is a volunteer-led organization, and we were blessed by having the support of one of our volunteers to help us pull together some of the concept, not the programmatic concept, but the imagery and the naming and how to make it work. And the name was supposed to be. We wanted the name to represent the idea that this program should be a real cornerstone in people's lives as both essential. It was something that is essential for people to get through, but kind of very ordinary in the way it is.
So it's a unique program, but the name ain't unique.
The name ain't unique. There's no TM after that name.
Okay. You're talking about sometime in the fall getting this started. When you start to roll this out, is it going to roll out across all 9 of your facilities, or do you have a schedule of how you're going to get it going?
We have a schedule. We're gonna pick one Y first, and we're gonna go and put our entire team in that Y to support the local team that runs it on a daily basis. We're gonna descend upon them and really kind of layer in a lot of support so that we can make sure. What's really important to us here is that we have 45,000 members across our service area, and we want the same experience for them to continue. We want them to have a great time. We don't want to take all our staff off of doing their work to do this work. So we're going to bring our association team is going to go support in each of our local communities, and we're going to go do one Y, get it launched, get it going, and then move on to the next Y. And in fact, that group is going to be preceded by a training team that is going to be going around to make sure that all the staff in each Y are trained up with the right skills, knowledge, and our prep so that they're really ready to go.
You're going to have a pilot program someplace before you start to roll out to work out the bugs?
I don't think so, because what we're doing is we're not starting something kind of brand new. We're just engaging people in our Y in a slightly different way. This is, to our way of thinking, this is like the fact that we support folks with financial assistance who have an income need. We are good at meeting people where they are, talking them through, getting them involved. This is what we do every day. This is just a new group of folks. What we need to do is train our staff in how to work with folks who have cancer and their families to make sure we understand their needs and are prepped to support them.
What do you think the differences are with people that have cancer compared to people that have other needs? What's unique about that particular facet?
It's funny. The way Scott describes it is really the word that we keep using is it's an innovative approach. And when we say innovative, it doesn't mean it's a creative, brand new way of thinking. It's sometimes the greatest innovations are taking what you already have and just reorganizing it in a way to deliver it differently and brand it somewhat differently and really avail it to a different group of people that may not know it's available to them. So when we looked at this population, what we really noticed about it was it fit our beginning mission statement. Our mission statement starts with the phrase, "We welcome all." And I guess unfortunately, when you think of it this way, cancer affects all. There are many different subgroups that we could have targeted, but this is the one that when we talked to our constituents and our board members, we couldn't find anyone who wasn't impacted by cancer. So once we said, all right, if we're going to go all in on a regionally wide program, let's go hard and let's go after something big. And so that's why, and when you do work with these families, it's not the why kind of working with them. If you think about it, the why is people. The why is truly the 45,000 people who are facility members. It's the thousands of volunteers. It's the 1,500 staff. It's the 3,000 donors. It's everyone collectively makes up the why. So in some ways, we expect to do this not for the community, but really with the community. So we're kind of excited to see as this rolls out, what do people in our communities want it to be? It may look a little different in Ipswich than it does in Haverhill, as it does in Beverly, as it does in Gloucester. But the outcomes of welcoming people and reducing isolation and feelings of vulnerability, well, that'll be the same. So for us, it really is about what does the community want to make of this opportunity? What does it want to support? How does it want to engage? And we've been thrilled with the response just in the announcement. I think one of the sleepers on this one, maybe we didn't realize how many people want to volunteer. We've gotten well over 50 people who have already emailed and connected with us to say, if you need somebody to introduce the Y to people, to go and meet them when they're in the hospital and talk about it and be a familiar face, or to comb through social media to look for local people who are dealing with it, people want to get involved. I mean, that's what the Y is. It's people helping people. It's neighbors helping neighbors. Always has been for 160 years.
Yeah.
What are the criteria, for instance, for a family who has a cancer patient? Is there a certain income level that they have to make, or what other kinds of criteria do you have?
No criteria. We want to make this as simple for people as possible. As Chris said, our why is about all, and this started a bit a year ago when he charged kind of the staff team and I think our volunteers to think about how we go out and engage more people in the Y actively. And so we came around to the idea of looking at community needs around cancer and recognizing that it is a significant and growing issue in the communities we serve. And as we went out and talked to people, people said, yeah, there's a place here for the Y to be. And so our only qualifications is that somebody has been diagnosed with the disease within the last 5 years. And we want to make it as easy as for people to kind of show that, to be able to let us know that that's true, and then we're going to welcome them into our community to be part of this program. People who've had cancer have already been through so much, their families are dealing so much, their life plan has been completely disrupted. We want to be here to provide the support for them as much as we possibly can to help bring as much normalcy as we can into people's lives.
Now, obviously, different families are going to have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you determine? Do you have people that will go to the families, or do the families come to you to talk about what their needs might be, or what they think that they need, and your recommendations?
Yeah, so families will come to us, especially in the beginning. As we go forward and as the program grows, we'd like to be able to find, we've already heard transportation is a major issue, helping people get to and from the Y. And we would love to see that kind of come at some point as we move forward. But in the beginning, families will come to us. And we are going to look to hire between 3 to 4 full-time folks who will work in our local Ys and will be there to do to meet with, onboard, and do the intake process for every single person. And that really is about making sure that somebody who walks through the door and says this is what they would like to do can really understand the breadth and scope of what's available to them, not just as part of the Cornerstone program, but because they are now a member of the Y, so that they can really maximize and make use of it. And in that conversation is exactly when we'll kind of figure it out. One of the things we want to make sure we're able to do is for folks who are going through treatment who have younger children, we're able to allow our kids clubs that we offer to members to be a place for drop-in care for a period of time, so that adults can go to get treatment and don't have to find babysitters or use family to watch children, that we can actually help with that. We had a number of community conversations where people said adults cancel their doctor's appointments, don't go to chemo or radiation treatments because they can't take care of their kids, which shocked kind of all of us. I don't think we'd thought it through, but then realized that, yeah, of course you would. You don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. So we want to be able to make sure we talk through all the different benefits of this program, help people figure out what's the right things for them, get them set up, and then really support them along the way once they start going.
So what exactly is this kids club? 'Cause
Oh, it's drop-in.
Yeah.
We've called it lots of names. It's drop-in
Yeah.
babysitting. So right now for our members, we provide, for all of our folks who are family members to our Y. I love I get to talk about the great stuff we're doing. Right? We have drop-in babysitting at each one of our facilities. So an adult who wants a mom or dad, they want to work out, but they've got a 3-year-old and no place to put them. We have staff who are trained and wonderful and great, a place that they can play games and do art and science and learn and have fun while mom or dad goes to a Group X class or works out. And then afterwards, I come pick them up and everyone's safe, go home. So we can do the same thing. Usually our members now stay in the building, but because we're able to do, with this program, we're able to do some opportunities where parents can actually go to their doctor's appointment
Okay.
and then come back afterwards. And
So this is going to be a longer term.
typically our members use between an hour and 2 hours, and here
Yeah.
we're talking between 4 and 5 hours.
Yeah.
So it gives people a little bit more of that window to be able to go. Or if somebody had treatment yesterday and is not feeling well today and needs a couple of hours, it gives them that kind of opportunity. Again, this program is about that daily living support, just those little things that are already making it harder to live. Hopefully we can find some small ways to make it just a little bit easier.
Now, what about the funding for all of this? It sounds like as it grows, it's going to become more expensive. You're going to have to hire more people and make sure that they're qualified people to do whatever it is you want them to do. How do you intend on funding it in the future?
Well, we've been working pretty hard with our boards of directors and with our staff, and in the beginning and right now, in some ways, we're able to launch this program because it's a reinvestment of the community's support of the Y today. This program is going to become part of our full case for support, and when it is integrated into what we do, we are going to be very aggressive in letting our donors know how important this is. And our goal is to continue to share with them the benefits the program has. And I believe that all of our communities, when they see the Y taking on an initiative and see the results and outcomes, we've been proven that we can align our donors to the needs. And I'm labeling that, but I'll go back. It really ends up being neighbors helping neighbors. It's if somebody wants to support the YMCA's financial aid program, its case for support, its programs like Cornerstone, the funding directly comes to the Y, and it's directly used for programs like this. So as long as the community continues to want to be members, want to take programs, want to donate, and want to volunteer, we're going to continue to reach into the community and meet those needs. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to try to put on great experiences like Cornerstone, and we're going to try to tell our community what we're doing, show them the outcomes, and ask them to support it.
Now, I know that you've also gotten involved in the affordable housing, and I didn't realize, because I don't live in Beverly any longer, I didn't realize that you're using the Cabot Street Y and you're building another floor on it, or
We
you
are.
have built another floor?
No, not yet.
Okay. And that's going to be for affordable housing?
Yes, the Y's history with affordable housing goes back. Actually, that building on Cabot Street started as a residency, as a main part of what it did. We've just evolved the programming to be far more conducive to today's needs. So where it once was drop-in per night rooms for young men that were struggling with work-related issues, it's now become long-term sustainable housing for all. And so right now, the Y of the North Shore actually owns and operates a little over, or about 300 units of affordable housing. And there's probably about 550 people who call the YMCA their home. It's in Haverhill, in Gloucester, in Ipswich, and in Beverly.
Now, were these just temporary homes? Or
Absolutely not. These are long-term housing. And so it's allowed us to create community within community. So in some of our residencies, like Powderhouse Village in Ipswich and the Hallcroft Park homes in Beverly, they're for families. Many young children, many starting families. In some situations, they're individuals. And it's been exciting. So this project that you're talking about was just approved by the City of Beverly recently, has had some additional local funding, and will go through a process to try to gain some federal support over the next 2 years.
Well, I found it interesting because in the article that I read, it said that it was a 100-year-old building that you rehabbed. And I know in Beverly, we've had schools that are half that age, and they're not worth rehabbing. They just tear them down and build new ones. So
This Y
I was
has-
quite interested in that.
This Y has taken a lot of pride, and it's been a lot of work in not deferring any maintenance and trying to reinvest every year materially in the buildings and their infrastructure. We've had a lot of unique and creative ways to do that. So we're excited to keep doing that. We love our buildings.
Well, the YMCA is a charitable organization, right?
It is a charitable 501c3 nonprofit organization.
What's your overhead rate?
I,
So if I give you $100, how much of that is going to end up in the programs as opposed to?
It's,
No,
it's,
this is an
no,
issue.
it's a
Yeah.
wonderful question because I often get that question, and we are one organization that gets to say we actually give away more resources than we actually raise. So in essence, if you give $100, it in essence is going to go directly to cause. Because the community has been supportive of our membership and our programs and our camps and our childcares, we've been able to augment some of the additional needs that we
So
can't raise
basically,
enough
you're making
for.
money on some of the programs.
If there's
and
any
that
type,
covers a lot of
if
your
there's
overhead.
any type of program that generates resources, those resources are invested directly back into the mission of the organization. So in definition of a nonprofit, all the revenue from this organization goes to meet the needs of the community as they are designed.
We're getting a signal that we have 3 more minutes, so
Where
if you...
did the time
Just flies
go?
right
Yeah.
by.
So one of
Everybody
the
says
questions I
that.
want to get to is, how does somebody get into this program? They just knock on the front door of the Y and say, hey, I've had cancer, and how do they learn about this?
So once we launch, yes, they don't have to even knock. They can just come on right in and we'll get them set. Right now, we have a website set up that is particularly for Cornerstone. It is ymcacornerstone.org. And there we have some stories of some folks who have already shared their stories related to cancer and to help kind of communicate this message. But if somebody goes there, then they're able to enter their kind of name and email address, and that puts them on a list that we're able to keep in contact with. And as we launch, we're going to keep telling that group what's going on every step along the way so they can learn more. But people can also reach out to any of our Ys, and we're able to get them more information as well.
And we're going to go on BevCam.
Yes,
Which is a
and you'll be on YouTube
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
on YouTube.
We do all sorts of marvelous things here, yeah. No, that's the other issue that I went to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Y. And I was fascinated by a lot of the stuff that they went through in that 45 minutes. And I've been a member of the Y for 50 years, and I never knew about half of that. So one of my concerns is you're doing a lot of good work, but you're hiding it under a blanket. And I think what I'm afraid of is you got a great program and not enough people who really need it get to find out about it in time.
And I hope that's not true here. 'Cause that's something we know as well, that are doing a lot. We're a busy place, but we've been working on this program for about a year. And we've been really thinking these pieces through, and there's a reason that we announced the program 4 months before we started running it. There's a reason that we're trying to everything we can to get the word out about it, and we're basically spending our time now just telling people about it and getting people to tell each other about it.
Yeah.
And you're right, George. It is something that a lot of nonprofits struggle with is putting a lot of effort into telling your story when your instincts want to just put every effort into doing.
Yeah.
We do want to work harder on that. We do want to keep letting people know what the YMCA is all about.
Well, we wish you success in the future.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you both for coming on and sharing with us what the Y is up to. We hope that you will come back.
We would be
love to.
delighted. Thank you for having us.
Tell us how well it worked.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank the audience for watching, and stay tuned for our next show. We're always keeping you up to date on what's going on in the community, in the state, and in the country. So good night, and thank you for watching.